I still remember the sound of the crash like it happened yesterday. I was sitting under the old bridge near 7th and Maple, the place I'd called home for the past 2 years. It wasn't much, just some blankets, a shopping cart, and a few old army supplies that reminded me of who I used to be. My name is David and I'm a veteran. I served in the Marines for 8 years. Life was different back then. I had a purpose, a team, a mission. But when I came back, things just fell apart. I struggled to find work. The nightmares didn't help. I pushed people away, made some bad choices, and before I knew it, I was on the street. I learned to survive with almost nothing. I got used to people not seeing me. Most walked right by. Some looked scared. Others looked through me like I wasn't even there. But that night, someone needed me. And for the first time in a long while, I felt needed too. It was around 11 p.m. I had just settled in for the night when I heard the screech of tires, followed by a loud crash. Then came the silence. The kind of silence that doesn't feel right. I got up fast and ran toward the sound. About half a block away, a car had slammed into a pole. Smoke was coming from the hood, and the front was crushed. I didn't think, I just moved. When I got closer, I saw a woman inside, slumped over the steering wheel. Her head was bleeding. The airbags had gone off, but she wasn't moving. I called out to her, but she didn't respond. The door was jammed. I tried pulling it open, but it wouldn't budge. Then I remembered an old trick from training. I took a metal rod I had found earlier that week and used it to pry the door open. It took everything I had, but it finally gave. The smell of gasoline hit me hard. I knew we didn't have much time. I unbuckled her seatbelt and gently pulled her out. She groaned but still didn't open her eyes. I carried her away from the car, back toward the bridge. Just as I laid her down, I heard a pop and turned to see flames starting under the hood. Within minutes, the whole front of the car was on fire. I took off my coat and wrapped it around her. I kept talking to her, trying to keep her awake. A few minutes later, someone else came running. They must have called 911, because not long after I heard the sirens. The paramedics took over, and I stepped back. One of the police officers asked me what happened. I told him everything. He looked surprised when I said I was homeless. I guess he didn't expect someone like me to help. I didn't stick around long after that. I went back to the bridge and sat down, my hands still shaking. I couldn't sleep that night. I kept seeing her face, the blood, the fire. But I also felt something I hadn't felt in years. I felt like I mattered. 2 days later, I was sitting in my usual spot when a black SUV pulled up. A woman stepped out. It was her. Her head was bandaged, and she had a bruise on her cheek, but she was smiling. I stood up, unsure of what to say. "You saved my life," she said. I didn't know how to respond. I mumbled something about just doing what anyone would do, but she shook her head. "Most people would have walked by, but you didn't. You risked your life for me. I had to come find you." Her name was Rachel. She was a nurse, a mother of 2, and had been working a late shift that night. We sat and talked for a while. She asked about me, and I told her a bit. Not everything, but enough. She listened. Really listened. A few days later, she came back, this time with her husband and kids. They brought me food, clothes, even a phone. Her husband, Mark, was a contractor. He offered me a job helping with some projects. It wasn't much, just part-time work to start, but it was something. I took it. Working again felt strange at first. My muscles ached, and I was slower than I used to be, but I kept at it. Mark was patient. He didn't treat me like I was broken. After a few weeks, he asked if I wanted to stay in their guest house until I got back on my feet. I tried to say no, tried to tell him I didn't want charity, but he looked me in the eye and said, "You earned this." The guest house was small, but to me it felt like a mansion. A bed, a shower, a roof that didn't leak. I cried the first night. I slept there. Not because I was sad, but because I finally felt human again. Word got around about what happened. A local news station did a story on it. I didn't want the attention, but Rachel said maybe someone out there needed to hear it. Maybe another veteran would hear it and know they weren't alone. The VA reached out. They helped me get proper medical care, therapy, even started working on getting me permanent housing. I still had a long way to go, but for the first time in years, I wasn't walking that road alone. Sometimes I still go back to that bridge. Not to sleep, but to remind myself of how far I've come. Life can change in an instant. One moment you're just surviving. The next, you're saving a life. And sometimes, when you help someone else, you end up saving yourself too. I'm not a hero. I'm just a man who saw someone in trouble and decided to act. But that one moment changed everything. It gave me a second chance, and for that, I'll always be grateful.